Rich Black American women grandmas speak. In the moment she stepped out of the room wearing my red dress, time froze. That same red silk I had kept folded for 30 years, the one my late husband bought me the night he said, "You'll wear this when you feel loved again." Everyone at the party gasped. She looked radiant. But when she turned to the mirror, her smile vanished. Because in the reflection, standing just behind her, was me, wearing the exact same dress. Her hand trembled, her voice broke. "Mother, how did you—" I didn't answer. I just smiled. That was the night she learned what betrayal really looks like, and what secrets are buried in silk and guilt. People think this is just about a dress, but that red fabric carried a truth she was never meant to find, one that tore our family apart. My name is Clara Henderson, and I've lived long enough to see love turn into envy, and kindness mistaken for weakness. After my husband James passed away, I raised our only son, Michael, with every breath I had. We didn't have much, but we had respect, and that was enough. When Michael brought home his fiancée, Tanya, I welcomed her like a daughter. She was beautiful, confident, and smart, the kind of woman who could light up a room and dim others at the same time. From the moment she entered our lives, I did everything to make her feel at home. I cooked her favorite meals, shared my mother's recipes, and even gave her a place in our old family home. She used to call me Mama Clara, and I believed her warmth. But slowly, I began to see how her smiles hid calculations. There was one thing she always admired, that red silk dress I kept locked away. I told her it reminded me of love, loss, and promises never kept. She said it was just a dress, but she didn't know. That dress carried the last memory of my husband and the darkest truth about our family. The days in our house used to begin with laughter. Every morning I'd find Michael and Tanya in the kitchen, him sipping coffee, her humming softly as she made toast. It warmed my heart to see them happy, to see my son finally smiling again after years of grief. I spent my days tending to the little garden James and I planted decades ago. Roses, mostly, his favorite. Tanya would sometimes help me water them, though she often complained about the heat or her manicure. I'd just smile. I knew city girls weren't used to dirt on their hands. But small things started to change. She began locking her door when I passed by. My favorite teacup went missing, then reappeared cracked. And one afternoon, I overheard her whispering on the phone, her voice low, urgent. "She doesn't suspect a thing yet," she said. When I asked who she meant, she smiled sweetly and replied, "Oh, Mama Clara, you must have misheard." Michael, blinded by love, told me I was imagining things. "Tanya just wants to make you proud," he said. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something inside my home was shifting. Slowly, like a storm crawling over the horizon. That night, as I folded laundry, I noticed my wardrobe slightly open. Inside, the corner of the red silk dress peeked out, shimmering under the lamp. I remember whispering to myself, "James, something's coming. I can feel it." And though the house was silent, I swore I heard the faint sound of a door creak, and someone softly closing it. The days in our house used to begin with laughter. Every morning I'd find Michael and Tanya in the kitchen, him sipping coffee, her humming softly as she made toast. It warmed my heart to see them happy, to see my son finally smiling again after years of grief. I spent my days tending to the little garden James and I planted decades ago. Roses, mostly, his favorite. Tanya would sometimes help me water them, though she often complained about the heat or her manicure. I'd just smile. I knew city girls weren't used to dirt on their hands. But small things started to change. She began locking her door when I passed by. My favorite teacup went missing, then reappeared cracked. And one afternoon, I overheard her whispering on the phone, her voice low, urgent. "She doesn't suspect a thing yet," she said. When I asked who she meant, she smiled sweetly and replied, "Oh, Mama Clara, you must have misheard." Michael, blinded by love, told me I was imagining things. "Tanya just wants to make you proud," he said. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something inside my home was shifting, slowly, like a storm crawling over the horizon. That night, as I folded laundry, I noticed my wardrobe slightly open. Inside, the corner of the red silk dress peeked out, shimmering under the lamp. I remember whispering to myself, "James, something's coming. I can feel it." And though the house was silent, I swore I heard the faint sound. The morning of the party began like any other. Quiet, peaceful, deceptively normal. The sunlight slipped through the kitchen curtains, laying gold across the old wooden table. I had baked a caramel cake, Michael's favorite, and ironed his shirt just the way he liked it. It was his promotion celebration, a night meant to honor his hard work, the son I had poured my entire soul into. Tanya had been unusually quiet all morning. She brushed past me without meeting my eyes. Her perfume lingered behind, expensive and unfamiliar. When I asked if she needed help getting ready, she only said, "I have something special planned tonight, Mama Clara. Something unforgettable." Those words. I should have known what they meant. As the evening came, I dressed simply, a navy shawl, my silver earrings, and soft shoes. I planned to arrive a little later, give the young couple their moment. But when I walked through those doors, everything stopped. Gasps filled the hall. Music stuttered. Even the air felt heavier. There, under the crystal chandelier, stood Tanya, radiant, glowing, proud, and wrapped around her body was my red silk dress. The crowd whispered, "She looks stunning. Where did she get that dress?" My heart didn't just sink, it shattered. That dress wasn't just fabric. It was the last thing James ever touched before the accident. I had sworn never to wear it again, never to let anyone else touch it. I walked closer, trying to keep my hands from trembling. "Tanya," I said softly, "that dress. Where did you find it?" She turned, her lips curling into a smug smile. "It was in your closet, Mama. You said you didn't wear it anymore. I thought—" "You thought it was yours to take?" Her eyes hardened. "You hoard memories like treasures. Maybe it's time to let go." Michael stepped in, confused. "What's going on?" I looked at my son, the boy who once held my hand after his father's funeral, and whispered, "She's wearing the dress your father gave me, the one I told you never to touch." The room went silent. Tanya's smirk faded. "You told him?" she asked, voice shaking. "You told him everything?" "What do you mean, everything?" Michael demanded. She froze, realizing her slip. The color drained from her face. I stepped closer, my voice low. "What did you mean by that, Tanya?" But she didn't answer. She grabbed her purse, muttering something under her breath, and hurried toward the restroom. Moments later, someone screamed. The mirror in the women's room had shattered, and Tanya was standing before it, pale and shaking. "She was there," she whispered. "In the mirror. You were there, Mama Clara, wearing the same dress." People rushed in, thinking she'd lost her mind. But I stayed at the doorway, staring at her reflection. And for a split second, I did see it too. A faint shimmer of red silk behind her. The truth was surfacing, pulling itself from the shadows. Because that red dress didn't just belong to me. It held a secret that bound us both. One that neither of us was ready to face. Tanya didn't return to the party that night. Michael drove home in silence, his jaw tight, his eyes distant. I followed later, my heart heavy with questions I already feared the answers to. When I entered the house, the red dress was draped across the couch, torn at the sleeve, the silk wrinkled, as if it had been yanked off in panic. Tanya sat in the corner, her face pale, mascara streaking down her cheeks. "You knew," she said hoarsely. You knew this would happen if I wore it. I stood still. I warned no one. That dress has its own memory. You shouldn't have touched it. Tears welled in her eyes. Because it was his, wasn't it? James's. He gave it to her. Before you. The words hit me like a blow. My knees weakened. What did you say? She looked away. I found the letters, hidden in the attic. He wrote to her, your sister, the one who left before Michael was born. He loved her, not you. That dress wasn't meant for you. You only got it after she died. The world tilted. The red silk, my sacred memory, had always been a lie. I sank into the chair, my breath trembling. So you took it to hurt me? Her voice broke. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to know what it felt like, to be chosen. Silence filled the room. Michael stood frozen in the doorway, his face pale as the truth settled between us all. He whispered, "You both knew." And I never did. Tanya turned to him, reaching out. "Michael, please?" But he stepped back. "You disrespected her. My father's mistakes weren't hers to pay for." That night, Tanya packed her bags. She left without saying goodbye. I sat by the window, the red dress folded beside me, broken, like the truth it carried. When morning came, I burned it in the fireplace. The flames danced crimson, then turned to ash. And in the smoke, I thought I saw James. His face softened, at peace. Some secrets, I realized, don't belong to the living. People say forgiveness is freedom, but sometimes, silence is the only peace left. That red dress was more than fabric. It was a mirror of love, deceit, and the weight of things never said. Tanya never returned to our lives. Michael and I rebuilt slowly, carefully, like stitching torn cloth with trembling hands. I never told him that in those final moments before the fire died, I whispered, "I forgive her." Not because she deserved it, but because I did. Now, when I walk past my old mirror, I see only my reflection. Older, wiser, unburdened. And sometimes I swear I hear James's voice, not in guilt, but in gratitude. The moral? Love can build families, but secrets can destroy them. And no matter how beautiful the dress, it's the truth beneath the fabric that leaves the deepest mark.